Hey y'all, it's Cindy. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. I would love to have your support and for you to join my little blind corner of YouTube here, so you know what to do. Today I'm going to show everyone how I put on my makeup as a blind woman, just the tips, the process, and things that I do to apply my makeup without a mirror. I used to use the big 10x huge magnification mirrors, y'all, but I just lost so much vision that the frustration level was so high I didn't enjoy it anymore. So I made that transition. I dropped the mirror and, well, not drop it. I didn't drop the mirror, y'all. You know what I mean. I transitioned to mirrorless. So today I'm going to share with y'all the tips, tricks, and just the overall process I use to apply my makeup blind without a mirror. And hopefully, you know, if you're low vision, blind, visually impaired, wherever you are on the blindness spectrum or not, maybe you're a sighted person and you're like, hey, I want to learn how to put my makeup on without a mirror in the car, or whatever your situation is. Maybe you'll learn a few tips in this video. So give me a thumbs up if you do, and let's get started. So right now all I have is just my face serum, moisturizer, and primer. I highly recommend primers, guys. I just love the way it feels on my skin, the texture of it, and I just feel like if that's all I'm gonna do, which is all I do most days, I think it just gives you a very healthy, natural glow without using any color correction or pigments or anything like that I have to worry about matching. I may list a few products down below in the description box, just my holy grail products. They will go directly to Amazon to make your shopping experience easier, so you're welcome to check those out for more details on the products that I'm using, but I'm not going to name too many specific things because I can't see the labels. So I don't want to mess up or mislead or get anything incorrect. I'll try to be as descriptive as I can in the description box down below, or you're welcome to ask any questions in the comment box. One of the tips I hear a lot of blind women discuss and share is they will put a lot of their skincare as well as their BB creams, CC creams, foundation, all that kind of jazz in a refrigerator or some kind of cool place, because the extra temperature contrast is just another way of really identifying where you're placing the product and how much and how little. That is a step I personally don't do. Most of the time I'm just kind of smacking it on, and I will use a beauty blender because one of my big tips is blend, 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 and when in doubt, blend some more. The thing that I would start out with, if you are someone who uses a 10x magnification mirror and it's just becoming more and more difficult, I personally felt like when I finally made that transition, I enjoy the process of putting on my makeup more now. So I highly encourage you to just go ahead. If you're struggling in any way, just go ahead. And here's step number one. When you're putting on your serums, your moisturizers, primers, anything like that, just really become as familiar with your face as possible. You really want to know exactly where your eyebrow placements are, where your cheekbones and all that stuff, and by just literally touching and exploring your face with clean hands as often as you can, and developing that muscle memory so that you can take a finger and go directly to your eyebrow. That's how well you really want to know your face, because it takes practice, and the more practice you have, the more confident you will feel. So that's step number one. Now, I usually start with my makeup from the eyebrows down. I will kind of go from the eyebrows to the eyelids, I will put on eyeliner, then mascara. Then I'm usually doing the overall face color correction. So I love BB creams or CC creams or even tinted moisturizers. Then I'll do some blush, followed up with some concealer, and then I'll usually set everything with a translucent powder. e.l.f. is usually my go-to brand, y'all. Specifically, I love their translucent setting powder. So that's usually what I will finish off with. And then my lips. I don't do a whole lot with my lips, but it's usually just a gloss or something like that, or tinted chapstick, that kind of thing. Other than that, I'm a very natural girl. I don't play around with crazy colors or anything like that, because I can't really see what I'm doing, and I don't want to come out looking like a clown. So usually when I go to Ulta or Sephora or just a drugstore, I'm usually asking people for their cited opinion as far as colors and things like that, and I usually try to stick to the neutral tones so that I don't have to worry about necessarily any of the specific choices that I'm making. Today I'm going to go ahead and actually just start with my BB cream, or maybe it's a CC cream, I don't know. Who knows, but I know it's one of the two. Those are usually the types that I like. I feel like I like BB creams because I don't have to worry so much on if the color matches perfectly, because they aren't full coverage like full-on foundations are. It's also lightweight. Sometimes foundations, they just start to feel too heavy on my skin. I don't know if it's a blind woman thing, but I feel makeup on my skin, especially once it's been 3 or 4 hours. So I don't really care for that feeling. So I like the lighter texture formulas. So this is, I'm pretty sure it's a Mary Kay CC cream. I don't know, we'll see. I'll let you know when I go to edit. So it's a pump, and these are the pumps that I typically prefer when it comes to my face products, because I can measure it out very specifically. So with my CC cream, I usually like to do just 1 pump, not too much, and I'll kind of just dab it around on my face until it's kind of evenly sort of distributed. And then I will go in with a beauty blender. My next huge tip for you guys is beauty blenders or brushes, whatever tool you prefer the most. Blend, blend, blend. And when in doubt, blend some more. So I'm going to find my beauty blenders. All right, so here it is. There are tons of other beauty blenders and such. I use an off-brand. I can't remember. It might even be e.l.f. brand, but it still does the job for me. So I am just steepling in my CC cream right now all over my face. And I'll usually try to start from the top of my head, and I just kind of go across my forehead, down and around my eyes. Literally just following that process from top to bottom. That's usually the way I approach my makeup, is from the top of my face and down. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them down below. One of the things that I also do is I always will have just a damp cloth on my legs. I'm usually always sitting down on the floor, the couch, wherever, and I'll have a damp cloth near me so I can wipe the products off my fingers and kind of have clean hands in between applications of different products. I have an Ipsy membership bag. I love having these monthly memberships. Don't care if it's Birchbox, Ipsy, any of the others, but Ipsy specifically, they'll give you these makeup bags with your makeup every month. And I actually like it because it's a great way for me to organize my makeup. So that is actually how I keep track of the different products. I'll have, specific eye things in one bag, face stuff, lips, concealers, blushes, but that's what helps me organize. And then at the dollar store, they have tons of these awesome bins, and that's just what I keep everything in, including brushes, and I'll just take this bin with me around the house wherever I'm doing makeup that day. All right, so I have applied my CC cream and I've blended it in with my beauty blender. So now we're gonna start with the top of the face, and that's eyebrows. So I have very sparse, thin hairs for eyebrows, and I even have a scar going through my right eyebrow. I can't see it, but I'm aware that it's still there. So I do use a pencil to fill in my eyebrows. The key to this for me is I really just feel exactly where I want the pencil strokes to go to fill in my eyebrows, and then I will follow it up with a spoolie brush to really kind of blend it in, and just use my fingers a lot. One of the things that I hate as a blind woman is when it comes to these types of like eyeliners or eyebrow pencils, I hate sharpening them, and so I usually like the ones that's kind of like the screw on, where the product will slowly come out as you turn it. Sorry, I can't talk right now. But it is kind of difficult because I don't always know how much of the product is sticking out. Do I have enough? Do I not have enough? Is it applying on evenly? I don't know. But I will take my thumb and my index finger at the very, very bottom, and then I will go ahead and turn it, and I will usually feel on the pads of my fingers, like as I turn it, I will feel when the product kind of starts to poke out. That's how I know how much product I have on the end. Then, so with my eyebrow pencil, I'm just gonna fill the corner of my eye, and then I go straight up until I feel my hairs there and where I want the placement of my brow pencil. And I'm just gonna slightly do very little quick strokes, filling in where my eyebrow is. Once I get started, I know my eyebrows and the shape of them very, very well by now, and I can usually follow my brow bone and fill them in as I go that way. Another tricky thing to filling in my eyebrows is I get a little nervous about making sure they're even and matching. You know, it's like, okay, is one side darker than the other, or is there a line or product or something, you know, that's wonky and not even with the other side? You know what I mean? So that's usually where I will take a picture with my phone and really zoom in to make sure that, you know, I've got everything kind of evened out and where I want it, or I'll ask my husband to kind of do a check just to make sure there's nothing really off. Okay. Now I am right-handed, and I typically do a lot better with my right side of my face. When I'm going over to my left eyebrow now, and this is usually where it gets a little more complicated for me, because for some reason just making that crossover to the left side with my right hand, I'm not as graceful about it. I don't know. Tell me, do you guys experience the same? Okay. I think that's good. I don't know, we'll see. But this is where I will put my cap back on, which is another thing. I'll get frustrated at times. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the top to this product? It's rolled away. So I'll try to just keep one out at a time and make sure I always cap everything off immediately. But on the end of this eyebrow pencil, I love it. They include a spoolie brush, which I love. I live by spoolie brushes. So I will take the spoolie brush and just go over where I've applied the eyebrow pencil, really kind of making sure I blend in those strokes and all that jazz. Next, I'll cap that off, and I'll use my fingers, and I'm just going to go over the very edge of my brow, so on the very, very top line, and really kind of smooth the hairs down and just go over the skin and wipe off if there's any crazy marks that's just outside of the formation of my brow. Then I'll go underneath and do the same thing. Just for me, I don't know, this is my way of, I guess, just making sure the shaping is there and even, and there's nothing like crazy out of place. So I'm using my sense of touch to really kind of feel my eyebrows and make sure everything seems to be in order. I don't use powders for eyebrow stuff. That's, for me, it gets just a little bit too unpredictable with the eyebrow fill-in powder, so I usually only do the pencils. Next, I'm going to find eyeshadows. So eyeshadows, guys, are kind of an interesting mix for me. I have 3 different types as far as formulas go. So I have my eyeshadow palette here that I've kind of been using here for a while. It's very basic, it's very simple. I think there's, I don't know, 5 or 6 colors in it, and I typically go for the colors that aren't the darkest and they are not the lightest. What shade they are, I don't know. I know they're neutrals. maybe pinkish, brownish, that kind of thing. Those are usually the type of tones I go for, but I can't say for sure which one they are, because sometimes pinks and browns, as far as makeup goes, sort of have similar tones and undertones to them, and I don't want to say what color this is. But I know I usually go for, like, I don't know, medium shades, and I kind of explore around on these palettes and really blend everything in. I also have a cream eyeshadow here. This is one I've been using for about a year, and it's definitely my quick go-to when I don't really feel like applying a lot, and it's just a very kind of natural pinky look, which is what I've been told is my natural kind of go-to color. And it has these creams. So this one specifically, it almost has like a lip gloss applicator. In fact, there's times when I've mistaken this for a lip gloss. Yeah, let me tell you, blind moments doing makeup, I've had a lot. But this is an eyeshadow cream. It just really kind of looks like and is applied on like a lip gloss. Very bizarre. So what I will do with these types of products, though, for the eyeshadow is I'll take the wand and I'll dab like 2 or 3 little dots on each side, and then I'll take my fingers, steeple it in, blend it around with a brush. The third type of eyeshadow that I have is a stick. I just recently started using these. This is a sample I received in one of my month makeup subscription bags, and I have to say it's a very light shade. It's something I do kind of where people tend to put highlighters there on the inside corner of their eyes. But these, again, it's just a stick form that you kind of you can rub across your eyelid and then blend it in with a brush as you normally would. And yeah, I'm very intrigued. I really like these because I know exactly where I'm placing them, and I don't feel like there's a lot of the kind of, what's it called, fallout or whatever, you know, where you get sometimes with the powders, you know, you can feel them, the powder kind of falling and kind of going everywhere all over the under part of my eye. And I feel like with the sticks and creams, you don't have to worry about that. So for me, visually, I think as a beginner, the sticks and the creams are great go-tos first. So I'm going to go ahead and just find my eyeshadow brushes. They're in the bottom of my bag. So I will pick out, sometimes I'll put my brushes kind of just on my lips to really kind of make sure I have the right brush. But it's like my lips, I can just really feel the bristles, like just how dense they are, and how, you know, if it's a good blender or whatnot. So there's a blender that I like. So I'm going to put that one aside. I'll just go ahead and show you how I applied the liquid eyeliner, or not liquid eyeliner, the liquid eyeshadow, and blend that around just as kind of like a base. So I will kind of go around the edge like in a circular form just to really get the excess off. Then I'm holding the applicator wand, sort of like a lip gloss wand, with my index finger and thumb. And using my pinky, I'll feel the bottom of my eye, like right above my cheekbone, just to make sure my placement is accurate. And then I'll close my eyes and dab just a few times. 2 to 3 times is what I do, sometimes 4 or 5 if I feel like there's not a lot on the wand. I've used this for a long time, so there's not a lot of product left in there. So then I will take the pad of my finger and really just kind of steeple that around in the crease of my eye. So I dab the cream shadows in the crease of my eyelid right there, and once I finished really kind of steepling it in with my fingertip, making sure I don't have any like globs on, like there's one side that has a ton of product on it and the other side doesn't. If I feel like they're pretty even with my fingers, I'll then go in with my blending one. Where did I put my brushes? I pulled them out of my basket and I laid them down. See, blind moment. This is where I'm kind of just all over the place for this video. I'll go in with a good eyeshadow blending brush, just really swipe back and forth like windshield wipers, that kind of motion, back and forth, and really kind of blend it in. So anytime, especially when doing eyeshadow, I feel like anytime I apply anything, I will always, before I put on anything else or any more, I will blend every single time in between. So that is the cream eyeshadow, just kind of a base. I put very little amount on. Now I'm going to go in with a compressed powder palette. It's really hard for me to see, but I'm going to try to just go in with this very first one right over here. It's not the darkest color. It's also not the lightest color. And that's about all I can tell from these palettes. I'm going to tap that off. And again, I'll just, you know, check my placement with my pinky finger, and I'll go in the crease and steeple that product in just a little bit at a time all over the crease of my eyelid. And guys, I am not a pro by any means. There's things that I'm probably doing wrong or not at a very high professional level, but this is just what works for me, and this is what I have done for so long. I don't really know. I mean, it's not like I've researched for this video, like, what's the newest way of applying eyeshadows and mascaras and eyeliners. Like, I never really learned how to do that, the cat eyeliner look, like the wing look. I barely see what it is people are talking about when they do reference that style. So I'm like, hey, I'm just a natural country girl, y'all. I'm just trying to keep it real and honest, and I'm not going really too far outside the box. So I've steepled that color in. So before I add anything else, I'm just gonna go ahead and blend with my blending brush, windshield wipers back and forth all around. Okay, now I'm gonna just add a little bit more dimension. This is where I usually get a little bit fun. I'll try to just add and layer on different colors and things. I never know like what the overall texture looks like at the end, and for that reason, because I usually do experiment a little bit, I feel like the look is a little bit different every time, and I don't know what comes out. But I do use typically the same products every time. I just mix it up a little bit, so there's not a lot of variation, but definitely some, if that makes sense. So again, I'm just taking my brush, the smaller definition brush for my eyelids, and I'm going in with a slightly different, deeper tone and going in the crease of my eyelid, and I'm steepling it in. I'm just dabbing it in. I'm not really brushing it on yet. I'm just really making sure that I'm applying that product evenly across my eyelid. Okay, now get my blending brush and blend. Okay, and just for fun, I might go in with a little bit more. Let's see, I don't know what this color is, but hey, let's give it a try. You guys can tell me what. I'm even mixing it up a little bit. I just did like 2 colors on this brush. And we'll see. This could come out a hot mess, y'all. Okay, now again, I'm just gonna go back with the blender, making sure, I don't know if you caught there real quick, I just tapped the end of my blending brush to make sure I had the right end facing my eye, because there's been times when I've had the brush turned around and I'm like literally trying to blend with the wrong side of the brush or apply product on, or I'll stick it in the eyeshadow palette with the wrong end of the brush. Do that kind of stuff all the time. So every now and then I'll just tap the end with my finger to make sure I have the right end facing my face. I think that's good as far as that eyeshadow goes. I'll show you this, what I do with this stick. I will hopefully someday in the future purchase more of these eyeshadow sticks. I'll just take the top off, and I usually feel just to make sure it's good and sharpened. That's the only thing I don't like about the eyeshadow stick, at least this one that was sent to me, is it is a sharpened one. So right now I am just kind of dabbing it and kind of almost like a crayon, starting at the very corner inside of my eye and going around just a little bit, maybe not quite halfway to my eyelid, across halfway. Sorry if I could talk. I'm not used to talking while I put this stuff on. Then I'm using my fingertip to really kind of smear it around like this, or blend it. That's my word, blend. Okay, now I'm going to go over to the other side, and I feel like this just kind of does, the shade seems to be really light to me, so I just feel like, I don't know, it gives a little bit of that highlighter-ish kind of look. Sometimes I'll still go in at the very end and use a highlighter in the corner of my eyes, because I know so many people do that, and it's supposed to be like a thing and give you that look everyone wants, but I have no idea what it looks like. And I'm not really good at highlighting, contouring, and bronzing, all that jazz, so this is about the most I will do. So now I have my blending brush again, and again I am just really going back and forth, really blending all three of these styles together. It's rare that I do use all three of them together like this, but I don't know, I'm getting experimental. So there's my eyeshadow. I hope it is okay. We shall see. All right, so this next step is one I usually forget, and it's just where I will take a little dab of concealer actually and go with my finger right under my eyebrow, but above where I place my shadow, because I just feel like it gives it a little, it cleans it up, I guess, a little bit maybe. I don't know. It seems like I saw a girl do it one time, and just the way she described it sounded like, oh, that really kind of tightens the look up a little bit. I'm going to use this one concealer that, again, kind of has that same sort of wand. The lip gloss, the eyeshadow cream wand, you know, it's all that kind of same wand. And again, I know I'm going to actually feel my eyebrow, so I don't put the concealer like inside my eyebrow and mess up my eyebrow makeup, but I'm going to just place one or two little dots right on the underside of my brow, but on the top above the shadow. That's usually where, you know, you still just see a lighter, you know, your natural skin tone. And I'm just going to kind of dab that around, really kind of blend it in. I feel like, I can't remember how the lady described what this does, but I always just feel like it's good for me sometimes if I'm really kind of exploring and experimenting, and I may have gotten product kind of everywhere. I feel like this is just a good way for me to tighten things up and make sure everything's okay. So hopefully that's good and okay. Next, I move to eyeliner. For years, I've actually had, this is the question I get the most. People ask, how do you do eyeliners as a blind person without a mirror? I'm actually opening a box right now because this is a product I've never used before. Kind of nervous. But again, so people ask me, how do you do eyeliner? And my answer is very, very carefully. But it's, again, one of those things where you do it so many times, you have your way of doing it, your process of doing it, and with consistency and practice, you gain more confidence and it gets a little easier. So I usually use the gel eyeliners and, you know, smudge them around a bit, but I do, I guess it's called a waterline. I don't do on top of my eyelashes, I do underneath. So really what I literally will do is I'll take the eyeliner and I'll do the top, and I'll kind of like just very slowly approach the outside of my eye, and when I feel it on my eyelashes, I'll kind of blink onto it and then start going across my eye. So once I really kind of blink onto it and I feel it on the very inside, right where my eyelid is starting, right under my eyelids, that's where I will go across the eyelid. I'm going to go to the left side and there. Okay, now I'm just kind of blinking onto it a little bit. And it almost may appear as though my eyes are closed, Like that is how much I'm closing my lid onto the product, the very tip of the wand. And sometimes like right then I feel like I may have like, oh, it went straight right over my eyelashes and I may have just put a big old black dot on my eyelid, but we will see. That's one of those mistakes where it's like, okay, I can take a makeup wipe and just completely start over if I feel like, okay, there's no way I can fix this. And then other times I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm imagining it to be worse than it is because I felt it. I exaggerated it in my head. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll ask my husband and it's not that big of a deal. And most of the time he says, oh, no, I don't really notice anything. Okay, so that was the top of right under my top eyelashes. And now I'm going to do the under part of my eye just a little bit. I usually don't do a lot here. So I'll start at the outside corner. Again, just really feel that lid and then go across. Okay, next I will take my fingers before that really dries and sets, and I'll just kind of take the pad of my ring finger and literally just kind of gently swipe to blend it across. And I'm just washing my fingers off on my washcloth now, get them good and clean. But this is usually where I get most little insecure about my makeup. Like, okay, is one side really darker than the other? Or does it look really awkward? Did I blend it in enough? Pardon the interruption here, guys. I noticed after I finished my makeup and doing this video that I was not happy with the eyeliner. And this is what happens. I ask my husband or I take a picture. I'll zoom in real tight, increase the contrast as much as possible, and with what little vision I can zoomed in, I'll try to see if I'm happy with my overall look from what I can tell. And I was not happy with the eyeliner. I think that new product that I opened out of the box just was not working right yet or something. I have a new eyeliner pen with me right now, and I'm going to try to go back in and just show you how I touch it up after I am done. I feel like the top of my eyelids are fine. It's the bottom ones, which I usually don't do very often, but I just kind of wanted to show you all how I go about doing this. I'm just going to start with my left eye first. Sometimes this might be one of those makeup tutorials that, hey, it doesn't end up perfect. And I'm not a professional, so. And I am ever so gentle. I mean, I am really like barely touching, guys, which is why I feel like I don't really get a lot of product on when I go the first. Like, I feel like some women, when they're applying their makeup, like one swipe of the mascara wand, then they're done, or one swipe of the eyeliner and they're done. But I am so barely touching my skin just for safety and caution. And are there times when I poke my eye uncomfortably? Sure, yes. But it's not terrible, it's not bad, and the more I do it, the more confident and better at it I get, so it ends up not being that big of a deal. But I don't know, hopefully this turned out a little bit better. So next I'm going to go to mascara. Now, my next tip with mascara is I usually love getting the sample sizes. The wands are smaller, so I have a bit more control, and I'm less likely to kind of poke the wand someplace where I don't want it. Again, another blind moment. What I will do is I will like take it out and then I'll try to like the actual container of the product. I'll start like trying to put it closer to my eye and I'm like, wait, something feels wrong. I've got the wrong end. Prevent this using a bump dot hack. You can add a bump dot to the top of the applicator or on top of a compact where it opens. And okay, so this is the end with the wand on it. And I just want to make sure I get all the clumps off of it. So what I do is I will slowly approach and I'll kind of feel, I'm holding it between, again, my index finger, thumb, as if I'm writing with a pencil. And I'll almost stick my thumb knuckle out, kind of feeling the corner of my eye. And then I'll slowly just approach my eyelashes and I'm blinking. And as I'm blinking, it's giving me that biofeedback to let me really know how close to the eye I'm getting. And then once I'm there, I don't move a lot. I'm literally just blinking and maybe using my fingers to gently move the wand around. And then once I really get confident with the placement, I really will make sure I go in deeper, under, where my eyelashes really start, because I want to get the product from the root of my eyelashes all the way up. So I'll really kind of make sure I'm starting at the very bottom of the eyelashes where they start at the eyelid, and then blink onto them onto the mascara wand, getting the product all the way up the lash. I'll tell you, when I was using a 10x magnifying mirror, I don't see eyelashes when I don't have any product on, and I was starting to just put on more and more mascara to the point where I'm like, okay, look, I have eyelashes. I can see my eyelashes. Well, y'all, I was putting on so much mascara to the point, trying to get to the point where I could see my eyelashes, that I was applying way too much, and it was like chunky on there and clumpy and just did not look good. And finally, one of my friends is like, you don't have to put on so much mascara. Like you're really coating it on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. So when I put down my mirror and went to just applying it as much as I can naturally, now I'm going to switch over to the left eye. I feel like I'm now a little bit more control, making sure I'm putting it on evenly on both sides, and I'm not applying too much. So again, I'm just really starting at the bottom and going up, blinking onto it. My eyelashes are not that long, so I rarely have the problem where the mascara gets onto the top of my eyelids, because I don't have long eyelashes. So but I still do my best not to open my eyes all the way when I'm blinking onto the mascara wand. It's kind of like half blinks. And I am actually using my fingers and hands now a little bit more, now that I'm confident with my placement and muscle memory. Using this wand, I am actually now using a little bit more of my hand movements to go up my eyelashes. So it's really a combination of several different styles of strokes that I am applying. And as you can see, I applied a lot. Like I was going up and down those lashes a lot there. So here is where I will go, let that dry just a bit, and I'll find my spoolie brush. I have a specific spoolie brush that I use for my eyelashes that has no product on it or anything like that. But I just feel like when I go over it again with a spoolie brush, it's like getting all any extra clumps on there, and I can just really kind of feel how much product I guess I have on. I feel like it separates the lashes just a little bit, but again, it gives me a little bit more tactile feedback. So while it's setting and drying, I'm just going over my lashes with a spoolie brush. And a spoolie brush is just like the bristle brush that people use for their eyebrows, but I also use them on my eyelashes for the same reason, just to feel those little hairs. So my mascara is dried, and I'm going to just feel, just to see really how much product is on there, because with those sample sizes, I don't always know how much product is on the end, and there wasn't a lot of product on that brush, and I can really feel like there's quite a few areas where I can feel like there's not a lot of product on there, even though I was really trying to go over all the eye multiple times, putting on several coats. There just wasn't a lot of product in that wand. So again, I'm going to just choose a different sample here that I have and go over with one more coat. Again, I have no idea how dark it is or how well, since I'm using literally kind of, I guess, two different products, I have no idea how these will go on together and how this overall look will turn out. But for me, that's sort of the fun of makeup, is the experimentation and how much can I achieve doing it by feel alone. And I don't know, just knowing, hey, I am looking my best right now, and I love experimenting on and how, you know, achieving it all on my own, and just it's just an interesting way of expressing myself, I feel like. Okay. Just touching here the inside around my eye. I'm even going to grab my rag because I feel like I got some mascara here on the corner somewhere. I don't know, y'all. How's it looking? I'm going to grab my eyeshadow blending brush just to go over my eyelids a little bit. I have no idea if there's any mistakes up there on my eyelids, but who knows? We'll see. Okay, I feel like there's a little bit more product on my eyelashes now, so I feel like that's a good amount of mascara on my eyelashes. So I'm going to find my spoolie brush now that I went over it with a new sample mascara, and I'm going to redo, just feeling those lashes with my spoolie brush and making sure there's no clumps. They're separated nicely, placed nicely. And I'm just kind of blinking and sort of using my hand muscles to actually move the brush itself onto my lashes. So it's a little mixture of both that I'm doing. Okay, ta-da! Most of my eye makeup is done. So now I am going to go in with a little bit of blush. And I do my blush before my concealer, typically. So let me feel where that is. I use a cream blush, again, just because I like applying it with my fingertips and steepling it in and having that tactile feedback that way. So it looks like this. I've used it for a long time. And I think there's like a mirror on the, when you open it, like it's one of those where like a normal compact, there's a mirror, which is so, I find it so funny because it's so tiny. I'm like, really, is that mirror seriously that effective? Okay, so I'm just taking my finger and I'm just literally dabbing a little bit across my cheekbone, and I'm smiling while I do it. I don't smile enough in my videos. I feel like I'm like too serious about it, y'all. I need to smile more, but I don't know. Never think about it that much, but I should, so that y'all think I'm just not ticked off all the time. All right, now I need to find my blush blending brush. Way too many bees there. Okay. Then I'm gonna just swipe up and down, similar strokes, the windshield wiper strokes, back and forth on my cheekbones. I know some blind women will actually count their strokes in applying the product and such, just so that they're literally doing it the same every time. But because I have kids and they're constantly distracting me, or because I may not be sure how much product is left in the bottle or compressed powder, what have you, I feel like I'm not a counter of strokes. I just blend as much as I can, and I don't count necessarily. So now I'm going to come in with a little bit of concealer under my eyes. This particular one I really like because it's like a sponge applicator. So I'm literally just kind of twisting the concealer into the sponge, and I'll link this product down below, but it's always gotten such great reviews. And so I'm going under my eyes, and I'll go a little bit down this way, down like the edge of my nose, kind of contouring a little bit. And then once I've applied that concealer, I'm going to go in with my beauty blender. I am still just kind of blending that concealer into my face, all around, everywhere. Get as far under my under eyelid as I can. I feel like as a visually impaired person, as a blind person, I still strain my eyes. I still just have a lot of extra stress. And I don't know about y'all, but I feel like sometimes blind women can sometimes experience extra wrinkling as our muscles and everything are overstrained around our eyes. Just we carry a lot more tension, I think, around the eyes. So I always get really self-conscious, thinking I need to really get a lot of concealer under my eyes and just do my best to take care of my eye areas with eye creams and things like that because of the extra strain that I have there. I think, I don't know, I don't want wrinkles before everyone else my age, so I want to try to do my best to take care of that. All right, so now I'm going to grab my e.l.f. translucent setting powder. This is what I love to set with. So I have like just a kind of foundation powder brush, and I'll tap into that and then just really kind of go over, blending in this powder. I love using translucent powders to set with because, again, I don't have to worry about matching pigments. It's just kind of a nice little setting touch that blurs the lines and hopefully any mistakes that I made. Okay, and I will really be extra careful applying some powder under my eyes. But I just want to make sure everything is nicely applied, evenly blended. Kind of pinching the brush just a little bit to kind of thin it out a little bit. Go swipe it across my eyes and around and down and all right, I think I have sufficiently blended all of that in. The only thing I have left, my lips. Again, I typically like to use the compressed lip glosses and things. Let me see where mine went to. So here's like a little sample that I got, and it's like a little disc size, slightly larger than a quarter. Just dab my finger on it, place it on my lips, really smooth it around. So if it's not like in a chapstick form, this is usually what I like to do next. The wands, I don't know. I feel like so many of the other products I use come in a wand format, and I don't know, it's not my favorite applicator. I'm kind of done with the wands by the time I get to my lips. So that's it, guys. Hopefully it turned out okay. Tell me what you think down below. I really appreciate you joining me. I hope I shared enough tips, tricks to doing makeup without a mirror. If you have any questions, pop them down in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Blessings to you and yours.